And I think we may or may not be live. It looks that way.
Cool.
All right. What's up, everyone?
How you doing?
Yeah, doing all right. Drinking my caffeine.
There we go.
Chasing it down with a
Cheers.
lighthouse lager that I have right next to me. So yeah, I'm Mike with NJCB for those that are paying attention out there on the internet on our members only channels. And today I'm joined by three guys here from Beach Haus Brewery in lovely Belmar, New Jersey. And we're going to, like I always do, pass the digital mic over. Maybe Dylan, you can start and we'll kind of, we'll pass you around. Look at that. I flipped you to the top. So
there we go. I like it.
We can even do these fancy things like spotlighting you. So Dylan, take it away and say, tell everyone who you are and pass it on, and we'll kind of go from there.
Sure. My name is Dylan Cohan. I'm the vice president of Beach Haus Brewery. So I've been there since the start, over 6 years now. But in the last few years, we've had a few changes, switching around the brewing staff and everything. So Matt here is our head brewer. He started out in the West Coast. He's been with us for, it's been going on 3 years now.
Yeah, 3 years. Yeah, 3 years.
2.5. Then Logan has been with us for over 3. So he's our cellar manager and brewer as well. So the two of them have been doing some, great creative ideas, innovations in the brew house. Most recently, we've partnered with Chef David Burke, and he's bringing actually food into our establishment. It's been working really well. So we kicked that off. I think it was January 15th was our first day that we really unleashed his recipes and, his kitchen. So it's been working out really great. If you didn't know, we got a liquor license in order to be able to do that. So I guess technically we're a brew pub now, but we're still a full-size production facility, of course. So as far as the brewers and, the brewery side of things, we're focused on the beer, and we brought him in to be able to focus on the food. So, kind of almost like a craft food meets craft beer venue. Even the spirits, we're trying to keep that to craft. We're getting local distilleries, anyone in New Jersey and in the immediate area.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think it was about now 2 years ago when we did when we hung out and did something. I guess Matt, you might have, maybe it was longer. Like I think it was soon after you started over there, right, Matt? And you were doing a bunch of new beers and different kinds of things. What's been coming down the line? What have you been doing, coming up with ideas, things like that?
Well, I mean,
while I pop my beer.
Inspiration really comes from anything, so that's pretty neat. As for what's new right now, we have a jelly donut milkshake coming out, so I'm pumped about that. We used about 300 donuts from Main Street Donuts, the local donut shop by us. What else? Premium kettle sour we're doing now. We're doing like a triple fruited one. Also keeping with the test departments, what we like, what we don't like. See what's going to be, come out new for next year. But yeah, those are like the big things coming out like soon.
That's awesome. Sounds like stuff we would like to drink. Yeah. Right, Logan? What do you think? What have you been digging that you guys have been putting out?
Yeah, I'm excited for what we got. Matt just brewed the Imperial Sour that we have that we're going to be fruiting, and the Milkshake IPA. We've had the King Sabro Imperial IPA that was one that I brewed a few months ago, and then coming forward, I jump into a saison, kind of a farmhouse ale, come spring and summertime.
Sounds good. And it looks like you guys are all drinking the King Sabro.
It's so good. I love it. It's my favorite beer at the brewery right now.
It's a good beer, man.
Yeah.
Our first double IPA, our double IPA hazy. It came out really well. So Logan actually did a test department on it during quarantine, and the reception was great. So, once we realized we could start moving some beer, and, people were still coming out buying cans and everything like that, we just went for it. We did a production size brew, and it sold really well. So we were really happy with that. So that's the beauty of these test departments. We have a 1-barrel system that allows us to really try and do some cool stuff and innovate new recipes before we bump it up to that 30-barrel scale.
Yep.
Logan. So
Yeah.
Logan's been working on saison. He just mentioned the one saison. So he's had, I think, like 3 or 4 iterations now. So he's kind of been honing in that end, and it's a style he's really been driving home. So we're going to be doing one of those as well.
Yeah, the
cool.
best time I've been able to do a bunch of small scale ones, something different each time, whether it's a different hop or yeast strain, and just playing around with that whole style. I think it's something that is so delicious. It isn't, the most popular beer on the market, but it's one that I enjoy, and I think it lends a lot of different kind of a creative alleys with it. You can kind of do whatever you want with it, and it's still unique.
Yeah, I mean, saisons they're there, and there's nothing wrong with them. I mean, there's a huge market for that kind of stuff out there, and I mean, I personally love it, and especially some of the like very basic, clean, funky, but not like overly crazy saisons. Right. Like I'm a big fan of those too.
Yeah, just clean, a little dry, fruity, spicy. It's fun. It's nice.
Yeah. I mean, and as a brewer, like you guys probably get bored of the same thing too. So that's why there's also the ability to be creative. I mean, yeah, I'm drinking a lager because Pilsners and lagers, that's what it's all about. It's just me, but like meanwhile, Saturday night I drank like six like IPAs and double IPAs. So like, because they're also there and there's so many of them, you got to be able to try them. And, do I want to try every IPA? Sort of. But like, do I want to try every Pilsner? Hell yeah. Do I want to try every saison? I want to try every single beer.
Yeah.
But when you find the styles that you like, obviously that is something that is, out there. Wow, you guys are getting a lot of love for the Sabro here. We got another one, someone else. Facebook users, by the way, you got to authenticate, like using that whole thing so it shows your real name. Al, thanks for authenticating, and he's drinking his King Sabro. But we also have another one pouring himself one. We have a lot of these people drinking them tonight, so it looks like it's a good beer. Maybe and how's that working now with the liquor license and with distro? Are you you're still doing distro through your current distribution partners? And
so once we got the liquor license, we technically became a restricted brewery with the retail plenary consumption license.
Yep.
So that limits us from self-distributing. So we can't, do it ourselves anymore. We did have a section in North Jersey that we were, doing well with our own sales guys. But once we, made this change, we linked up with our partner in North Jersey, Black River Traders. So they've been doing really well. We're happy with the way they're able to expand through our territory there and keep beer moving.
That's good. That's good. Yeah. I assume that's what it was. A lot of people on the NJCB group and things like that, a lot of the members don't really get too concerned with like how the stuff works behind the scenes, but basically for the lay people's terms, it's New Jersey has such weird laws that like you have to deal with all their different strange laws. So a brewery that has a liquor license, also known as a brew pub, and that's how I classify it on NJCB. And I actually need to like move you guys to a different list on my stuff. But a brewery with a liquor license, aka a brew pub, like a Harvest Moon or that kind of thing, you can distribute, but you can't distribute yourself. But you can distribute or sell directly to consumer from your own tasting room. So that ability still exists. They also have the tasting room, which is also a bar. So you have a full liquor license. You might not have everything on tap or whatever, but you do have, you do have guest taps, I'm assuming, and things like that. And correct. And like you have like other or guests like wine and cocktails and things like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So you have the ability to have outsiders,
right?
Outside product on site.
We don't bring in any outside beer really. We have with a couple of our contract brewing partners. We do some contract brewing for some guys. So we've put them on as like a featured draft. Get us a little pull on social media for both of us. So that's been going well. So we like doing that for them. And for us as well, it's something cool to just bring some people in and try something else, somebody else's style. And then as far as the cocktails and wine, they're there, but we have noticed in our tap room it is a beer focus. People are still coming for the beer, which is great. We really want to see that, and it's been great. People are coming to get food, then they hang out a little longer, they have more beers, and it's just kind of been meshing very well.
It's great. Yeah, it's a really cool idea, and especially like once we're through this COVID stuff, especially the location, you guys you have one of the best locations out there, for people in that part of the state, and of course making it a destination, and hitting up a bunch of the different breweries is like nothing. It's so simple. I came down to buy some of the beer recently, and I ended up going to 4 places on the way out of there, like it within 20 minutes, because you just take 71 all the way up, and there you go, and you can hit multiple places right off the road, or not even off the road, literally on the same street, and it's super easy. Or go the opposite way and south and do the same kind of thing. So it makes it very convenient. Now, we did have a question for you, Dylan, that said, who are you contract brewing for, and are they opening up their own brewery? So you don't have to answer it if you don't have, if you don't want to, but
as far as our partners with contract brewing, I kind of leave that up to their discretion. If they want to put that out there, I'd rather not list them. But some of it's a mix. Some of them have their own facility already, and they just need more volume. So there's some guys that are brewing just for their room, or their tap room, and then we make their cans for distribution. And then there's other guys who don't have a brick and mortar yet, but they're working on it. So there's varying degrees of breweries out there that come for contract brewing. But we offer 30 barrel batches, so it's a nice volume of beer. Not too much, not too little, that you could really start off with.
Yeah. I mean, we just had someone say that's a great idea, and it's funny because it does come full circle. I was just telling you guys before, I found my original Beach Haus glass that I got when Beach Haus was a office space in Point Beach, and it's like, whoa, now it's a brewery, and I've been there obviously every time there was a change. When I remember getting invited to visit, and that floor wasn't done and this wasn't done, you got to move this and blah blah, and I've seen it through all the different iterations, and now I think it's slightly different. Like the bottom floor, how does the tasting room and the store work down on the bottom floor? How's that set up now?
So that is actually going to be outfitted more or less into like a first floor tap room. So that's going to be a bar downstairs. We want, with the location, like you were saying before, corner of 8th and Main and Belmar, we want that to be able to be a walk-up bar. People walking by, going to the beach, stopping for a beer on their way. And it just kind of lends itself to having people there as they're going by. So we want to make sure that's going to be a nice focal point. You don't just have to go upstairs. You just come off the street, grab a beer, continue on, walk around town. So that's going to have, some work to go into it still.
Yep.
The tap room upstairs, we have done a few changes. There was formerly Benny's, which was the restaurant up there. It was a separate tenant. They closed a number of years ago, and it's been vacant. So we reclaimed that space for the brewery, and that's now our kitchen. And it's actually going to become a more of like a finer dining room for David Burke. So that's going to be more of his upscale menu focus, and then the tap room will have its own separate menu. So there's going to be actually like 2 different sections upstairs. So we have a few options when you're coming by.
It's great. Let's see here. Matt, what kind of beer are you drinking? Not brands, if you don't want to say it, but what kind of beer styles are you currently drinking, and things that are inspiring you for the future? What have you been digging recently?
I try to drink as anything that's I can't usually get my hands on. So, obviously Other Half, Evil Twin, McKellar. I have some friends who mule for me on the West Coast, so occasionally I'll get some stuff from Urban Roots in Sacramento. some of that stuff. Nothing too crazy. I mean, recently I've been doing a lot of, can we make beer? Like Logan's been kind of going, to this, the saisons and just some cool stuff. I'm kind of going more into like, well, can I make this taste something different? So, like for instance, one of the test departments I'm working on is I'm playing around with like mushrooms to make like an umami flavor. So the idea is maybe we have something that's has that meatiness to it. So either ramen or a ramen sour or like something that would taste like KFC fried chicken. But that's a little weirder. We're a big flight. We do a lot of flights here. So again, it's an easy like, hey, I'll try 5 ounces of that and see how it goes.
That's cool. A fried chicken beer sounds delightfully weird as hell, and I kind of want it. Like, there's nothing that sounds.
Yeah.
It's I have this. Well, it's not even a joke, but I know another brewery in Jersey that the brewer is like always telling me about his mushroom beer. He wants to make this mushroom beer, but just straight up mushroom beer, and it's like like, okay, when are you gonna make it? And I don't see anything wrong with it. I'm down. I'll try it. I mean, that's the cool part about beer. You can, make any flavors and do anything. And if it's not something for someone, it might be for someone else. It's the crazy part.
I have one of my friends. He's a private chef. He's worked at a lot of Michelin star restaurants, so I always get to pick his brain when he's back in Jersey. I mean, over COVID, he's like Tom Hanks' private chef. So like, it's kind of it's pretty cool. He's always, he worked at Latour before that. So, it's just been kind of neat. We're doing, he gave me a lot of good advice, so I'm just got to execute it now. So,
yeah. And how about you, Logan? What have you been digging recently aside from your Sabro?
Yeah, if I can get something local, I usually try to get some local. I live right in Point. Shout out to Leslie. I stop by their place a lot. But besides that, I like a lot of traditional kind of stuff. Like I'm going to brew a Czech Pilsner soon, so I've been drinking a lot of Pilsner or 12. I've been drinking, besides Beach Haus, just whatever I can get my hands on that's local, that's fresh. But then like you're saying, like I like to go back to the get something Belgian, get something Saison-y, farmhousey, Czech Pilsner, some light and refreshing. I've bartended in the past doing tiki cocktails, so I think also down the line I want to make like a tiki style IPA, something like that, using some nutty flavors, some tropical fruit flavors, incorporating the hops along with that as well.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Sounds exciting. How about you, Dylan? What have you been digging, drinking, trying?
Yeah, same thing. I mean, I like to support the New Jersey guys. I like to see what everyone else is putting out there in the market to kind of keep us fresh and keep us, honing in on what we want to do as well. So when I go to the store, I have a pretty good store near me. It's the Max's in Neptune here, next to that Stop and Shop. But they have a really good beer selection. So I'll get things from New Jersey, and then they also start getting some good stuff. So like Pseudo Sue and stuff like that. I typically do go for kind of the hazies and the double IPAs right now. But if I see something, just totally out there, then I'm like, oh, I want to try this. We'll pick it up. We actually do I
was just gonna chime in.
The guys, and we all do like a beer share. The guys from the brewery. So we'll all get like a can that you can't really get easily, whether we go to a brewery or somebody gives it to us. We'll each bring a can in, we do a share. So kind of can really see, what's out there and all try it together.
That sounds good. And Matt, you have a comment here about where to find your mushrooms. I'll send you the info later in case you missed it.
Thanks.
Didn't Martin do a mushroom beer, the Gilded Lily, that has truffles?
That was truffles. I don't know if it was.
Like,
I mean, technically, I guess they're similar, but
mushrooms. We're not there yet.
Yeah. Or you can use those little enoki mushrooms. They're tiny. I just had those in dinner tonight. But But it's pretty interesting. I mean, I think the cool part about now having 130-ish breweries in Jersey and hundreds more available in Jersey, and especially with as we are right now with COVID, everything being canned and bottled and not really draft outside of the brewery kind of thing. Like not like the experimental stuff kind of stays in house a lot of the times, right? But
Yeah.
everything is getting canned and bottled, right? So not the experimental one-off batches, but like these little guys, and they're everywhere. Like it's cool to be able to as like a consumer on the consumer side, it's like you can try all these different beers that you might be able to find at your liquor store versus another liquor store, but you can also find things that your friends are mulling across the country and whatnot. But it's pretty cool to be able to like do all that that research on different things with the sheer amount of beer that's available. Like it's just insane. I hadn't gone to the liquor store that I typically go to in a while, and I needed a bottle of tequila, and their tequila selection doubled since the last time I was there. And I'm like, oh, great. But they don't have the small bottles anymore. It's just the large bottles. And so I had to settle on a large bottle. But, at the same time, I look in the beer section and I have no more room in my fridge again. So I couldn't buy a lot, but then I realized I need to drink quicker because they have so much again. Like brands are putting out 2 to 3 beers a week, and it's like it's hard to physically consume all of that, but also like store it. You know what I mean?
Right. And then as a brewery, for us, it's how do we stand out when you go into a beer store and you got racks and racks and racks of all this fresh, local craft beer. So that's why we're, I'm sure you guys have noticed over the years, we started tweaking our labels and try to make things a little more just flashy and, more of like kind of what the market's looking for, what pops out at people on the shelf. Like Logan, when he made this King Sabro, it was a Neo-Mexicanist hop Sabro. So he went for this, kind of Aztec, almost like Mayan pattern, whatever it is. But it looks cool, so it's something that pops out, something that helps people just gravitate towards it when they see it on the shelf.
Without a doubt. I mean,
we're thinking about.
Yeah, that's what sells. Sex sells, and like it's just crazy, right? It's nuts world. Like people, I think there was a conversation on something the other day on the members only group. I think there was something about, do you gravitate towards a beer based on labels, based on untapped reviews, based on like, I'm like, well, untapped reviews, hell no, in my personal opinion. Whether you're a viewer or not, I will like. I love my reviews. My reviews are perfect, but so are your reviews, and so are your reviews. But you as the brewery are like, nah, we don't. The reviews are there like, I hate IPAs, 1 star. Well, why'd you drink an IPA then? Like, nobody wants to hear that, right?
Yeah.
But like, you look at a label could sell, just like, you love that shirt, but you don't love that shirt. Like, it's the same kind of thing. It's all super subjective to what you believe in, what you like. And then if you try the beer and the beer is not for you, that's totally fine. But at the same time, the if you don't love the beer because you don't like that style of beer, why in the bleep did you try it? You know what I mean? Like, if you don't like Dunkelagers, like, why are you just gonna drink one? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even if
why do you
don't rate it, like,
well, yeah, don't rate it. Just give it like, check it in, get your little scene points, and have fun with it. But like, don't give somebody a bad rating because you don't like that style of beer. Like, I think that's, I mean, every brewery agrees with that, but at the same time, like, you can't say that. I think somebody posted like a comment. It was like something about like, this Pilsner is too hazy. Okay. It was listed as a hazy Pilsner. Like,
unfiltered.
Did you want a clean filtered, a filtered, very, very clear Pilsner? Because that's what the can did not say. Like, it said like hazy, which means something. So yeah, people are interesting out there. So yeah. Oh, Al, or whoever this Facebook user is, when you guys when you guys, these can collectors out there that love beer cans and stuff, yeah, when you guys put out new labels, they can't keep up. That's the only negative, I guess, about
Man, if
breweries
you're a collector,
releasing
you
new
want
beer.
a label,
So
I'll cut one
we
off
have all the
buy for you.
labels from like our older run. So if anybody ever wants stickers,
Yeah,
we can just give you like the labels, the old labels.
shoot us an email and we'll put some aside
Yeah.
for you. Stop in the brewery and we'll give them to you. It's no problem.
Yeah, that's the way to do it, guys. See,
We
we're
actually
all in
have
this together.
people, we'll send from all over the country, just random states. We'll get letters that are just an envelope, a blank envelope with stamps on it, and it says,
Mhm.
"Please send some labels or coasters to me." I'm a collector.
Yeah.
So we send back. We want to make sure that people are getting our labels and just being able to collect them. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
It's
a lot of.
industry.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, you can see behind me all my beer trays and stuff, but
Oh yeah.
like that's what I mean. I collect the old school beer trays, and I did have a handful of cans over there, but a lot of these can collectors and stuff and brewery collectors they love their coasters. They love this. They love that. I mean, I have my tea on my Cypress coaster. Like it's definitely definitely a fun thing for people out there. But I guess some of the more fun part is drinking the beer that's inside the can. So that's what the other half of it is, right? So they like that stuff too, and I don't blame them because that is the best part. So come in and drink it, right?
Yeah.
Like we were saying before, it's almost like the experimental stuff is at the is in the tap room, right? It's at the brewery. Some of that stuff, doesn't translate as well when it's brewed in like that big scale, or it's harder to distribute those kind of experimental beers and other ingredients for that kind of beer out in distribution. Like for example, like I brewed the Final Amber Ale that had roasted carrots in it. Brewed on a small scale for the tap room, nice and easy. You use about 30 pounds of carrots, right? You want to brew 30 barrels of it for the market. Now you're talking 900 pounds of carrots you got to roast and cut and process and sugar and all that. So it does become a different animal when you want to make that kind of like small experimental beer for a tap room, and then go large.
Without a doubt, yeah. It gets a little crazy,
Yeah,
it's pretty fun. Like I've seen, throughout the years, all the different experiments. I remember, speaking of chicken, I think it was 3 Threes and Bolero made a chicken parm collaboration IPA or something down at 3 Threes. And through I've always come up with these random ideas, and some of these collabs that we've released are, have through NJCB that we're at festivals and whatnot. You can't scale it up because it's like I think the one thing we did with Spellbound had normal, like maybe it was a 15 barrel brew. We had I don't know, some ridiculous amount of honey. To scale that up to it would have been like a ridiculous amount of honey. So, but you don't know if it's gonna at that level of honey, if all the honey is consistent and it's gonna overpower it. I'm not a brewer. I let other people do the brewing. I just come up with random ideas, but at the same time, you just don't know what could happen, and that's the beauty of it, right? So, in my opinion, there's so much out there, to try.
Gotta go crazy with it.
Gotta go crazy.
Oh, Matt.
I will say that's one of the great things about our size. We're still small enough that we just use fresh ingredients. There's no let's fake it. Let's fake the carrot flavor. Let's fake we literally, no joke, we shaved carrots for a week to make this beer. It's real. We just sat there, we got it done, and it was pallets upon pallets of carrots, and it was great, And would we ever make 60? Only time will tell. But we're still using just fresh ingredients. It's great. Actually, we're gonna be making an ube beer with the purple yam from the Philippines.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I don't know if that's going to translate into again a bigger 30 barrel batch, but having a beer that's like midnight purple would be fantastic.
Yeah,
our barrel beer coming out.
Say it again.
Our crazy barrel beer coming out.
Oh,
in a couple weeks.
I crushed that.
All right.
I'm really happy with
Keeping
that.
that secret.
Well, Matt, Matt, you should take it away.
Okay, so
You brewed
I
it.
looked at the oxygen, the nutrients for our big barrel aged beer. I wanted to make it great. So it's all said and done. It's 17.44%. So this is the biggest beer I ever made in my life. I'm super excited about it. We're using Sagamore rye barrels we got from Baltimore. We've been in touch with the company. They love what we're doing. They love the passion. So we're working with them. But yeah, it's great flavor, super smooth I honestly was kind of a little nervous. I thought it was going to be in the 12 to 13 range. I was kind of shooting for 14 because it was smooth. But
Doesn't shoot like 17.
White Labs looked at it. And yeah, it's crazy.
Wait, so an almost 18% barrel aged.
17.4. We sent it to White Labs for ABV testing.
That
We do with all the barrels.
Yeah.
Are you going to be bottling it, draft only, or can't?
We're going to be doing 4-pack, 12-ounce cans.
Oh, even better.
That's what we did with the
right?
barrels there, and it worked well for us.
It's amazing. I would not suggest everyone shotgunning one of them, but you could try. Yeah, no, that's great. There needs to be more. A couple of different breweries back in the day have canned like some barrel aged and some bigger stouts, and people have started to do them again. I remember like Icarus has done a few and things like that, but there's definitely a need for more than just IPAs and whatnot in these, or some other stuff. And 12 ounce are always nice too, because when something's that big, a 12 ounce is big in terms of volume, alcohol content. That's
keeps it approachable instead of having that big bottle.
Oh yeah,
it's fun to share. It's great to share and do all that, but it does keep it approachable where you come kind of
without a doubt.
A volume.
Yeah, without a doubt. Sounds like a fun thing. So let's see. Will that be brewery only? We're getting a question on.
We're unsure right now. It may be, but there's some like key accounts that want some. We could open it up for some good accounts for ours, but it is fairly limited. We had 8 barrels, and we're actually only packaging 4 of them. And for the first time, we're going to double barrel some of the beer. So we're kind of splitting this batch in half. We're going to package half of it, then the other half we're going to age even longer. So we literally got barrels today from Sagamore Spirit. So the initial aging was in the high rye barrels, and the second half of the aging is going to be in the low rye barrels. So when they blend their rye whiskey together, they're actually using a base, whiskey from each barrel, and they bring it together, and that's how they make their whiskey. So we want to put the beer through the same kind of life as the whiskey had. So we do want to package some because we think it's great right now, but we're interested to see, what will happen after it gets that extra low rye aging time.
That's awesome.
Actually, I got a distillery exclusive bottle. I asked the guy that went down to pick this up for me. They just released this over the weekend.
Yeah, you forgot to share that before we left today.
Yeah, I know. I'll bring it back. So this was like a special distillery exclusive. So he was down there in Baltimore today, so I asked him to pick it up for me. So, it's a cool relationship, and we have 17 barrels from them now, from Sagamore Spirit. So we have a few things going on, and we have some tequila barrels from them, finished tequila barrels, a couple of those, and then a couple of their double oak barrels, which actually have special grooves in some of the staves. So we allow to get that contact. So we're going to do something cool with those as well. So we'll have quite a few options coming through.
What do you think? Maybe some barrel aged Goza tequila.
You've been talking about that for the last 2.5 years.
I know. I was waiting for the barrels.
It sounds like a good beer. I'm a big fan of margaritas. So something that's sort of like that with a little tequila aged barrel. Huh, interesting. Could be fun. And that's the cool part. Get to experiment, right? You're not saying build a 30-barrel version of it, but like,
No, just
you know,
like barrel and a half, what 52 gallons?
Yeah.
Almost do, I guess.
Yeah,
But
yeah, low
you know,
50s.
it's enough for the brewery. We'll have a little fun with it, and then go from there.
yeah. So before we wrap this up, is there anything else you guys want to talk about or mention? Anything coming out aside from this 17+% alcohol barrel aged beer that we're all going to line up to get? Anything on the? I mean, you mentioned a bunch of the food things coming down the line. You mentioned a few things like that. Your distro footprint, because in North Jersey, Black River, do you have other distributors that you can get your beer, some of the beer, like most of the beers outside, like the bigger ones outside in the area? Maybe.
Right. So we do have Richie Page, in addition to Black River for the state, and
Okay.
then we have Penn Beer Distributors for Eastern Pennsylvania and Philly. And I actually have a guy coming in this week to meet with me to talk about New York and New York City. So we're trying to, grow that footprint and get our beer out further. We have the brewery to be able to make this volume. So we're trying to grow and, grow our footprint with that.
That's great. How about you guys, Logan or Matt? Anything to add, or you want to?
No, just we're excited about the food coming in, and brewing beer that can pair well with that food. So when you come in and you have that food, you can kind of pair a beer that goes well with it, whether it's your dessert imperial stout or it's the IPA or it's some light lager like our lighthouse. We have a beer that can kind of fit all those aspects of the food that is also going to be at the brewery. But then going forward, I'm excited for all the big beers that we have coming out, and a couple times a month we're going to have those small press departments that are brewery only. So those are fun as well.
Sounds good.
Yeah, besides what I was talking about, I'm kind of focus on the summer, see what else is kind of cool, or fruits we can play with. Everyone's doing it, so we are coming out with a hard seltzer, for the brewery. Our clientele is quite different. It's very all over the place. So I want to make sure that if you come here, there is something for you. Anything from, if you're a wine drinker, I can get you drinking, one of the sours. If you want a seltzer, do you want a light lager, heavy IPA, something, there should be something there for you. And then, besides that, I don't know, I'm just kind of starting to look at like stuff for like GABF, they're going to have the same time as the CBC this year. So hopefully, we get that done, come home with a medal, be kind of cool,
That'd be great.
That would be cool.
We haven't actually yet the GABF. We've never put anything into GABF, but we're looking at it for this year. Like Matt was saying, Logan, Matt, and I go to the CBC. So while we're there, we could just link them up and, hopefully come home with a gold.
Yeah, there's a lot of Jersey breweries that have different people that have won lots of awards recently. I've been reading left and right about more and more of them. It's pretty great, and I'm proud of our state. As little as few amount of breweries we have for our population and our density and everything else, we're really doing really well. Like all the breweries are doing really well with their stuff, and especially at some of these some of these bigger festivals and things like that, they're doing really well. So and hopefully once all this stuff is through, you guys are back out there at events and festivals, and we can drink with each other more often than we have in the last year. With that, guys, maybe give them your website and everything else, and where to find you guys, and then we'll sign off.
All right, yeah. beachhausbeer.com is our website right now. It will stay that as well. But with the restaurant coming, they're going to have like their own kind of restaurant website, we think, and Instagram handle. They're going to kind of branch off so they could focus on food. So our Instagram, Beach Haus Beer as well. And that's we've been putting a little bit of food on for now, but we're turning that back to a beer focus, over the next couple of weeks. So yeah, check us out, Beach Haus Beer.
Oh my God, someone wants to do a bottle share at the brewery. So I don't know. We might have to talk offline about that.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we got
We
that
got
Wednesday
Oakland.
club. You know, it's definitely
Yeah.
fun.
That's true. You do have a license. So thanks for posting it out there. And everyone for tuning in. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
And
thank
we
you,
will
guys.
see you guys next time.
Later.